What's up guys, and welcome back to a video I've got a feeling you've all been waiting for. This is my tutorial on damping in Forza 5. In this I'm going to try and go over and try and explain to you what the rebound and the bump stiffness actually does, and how you can adjust the settings to maximise the amount of grip you've got on your cars. I'll try and go through it step by step. I'll try and make it as easy as possible without getting to confuse myself or confusing you guys too much either. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a quick clip of what the bump and damping actually does, and hopefully this will give you an idea of just the very basics of how these work on your car. So here we've got my Lancer on Le Mans at the bumps, and as you see, as the wheel goes up into the wheel well, that's the bump setting, and as it comes back down, that is the rebound setting. So bumps up in the wheel, rebound back down away from it, and as you can see, as we continue to go over the rest of the bumps, you can see the bump and the rebound working over the bumps. Okay, so that's the very basics of the bump and the rebound and how it affects your car. It does do quite a bit more than that, which I'm going to go over now. We'll start with the bump settings, and we'll just quickly look at the description that we've got for it. It says bump damping controls the rate of compression as the suspension goes up into the wheel wells, as we saw. Increasing rear bump damping stiffness increases transitional oversteer. But excessive bump damping can make a car skittish over rough surfaces. So with the bump, it's pretty much the same as it is with the springs. If we have the springs, front springs higher than the rear, it promotes understeer, and vice versa. If you have the rear higher than the front, it promotes oversteer. So that is actually works for your bump as well. And as you can see here, I've got a little bit of understeer on mine. Got the front higher than the rear. And one thing to remember as well, if you have these too high, so if we had these up here somewhere, when we actually went over that bump and the wheel went up into the wheel well, what it'd actually do is actually more than likely launch the car into the air, not 50 feet or anything like that, but the wheel, enough for the wheel to actually come off the ground. And anytime you've got no contact with the wheels and the ground is a bad thing. So if you've got too much bump, then you'll find that when you go over curbs or rumble strips or anything like that, your car will actually become really unsettled, and you'll notice it as you're driving around. Likewise, if you've got it too soft, then what you'll find is the car is a little bit sluggish to drive. It won't respond. It'll take curbs quite well. It'll take bumps really well because it's got the softness there to absorb it, but it won't be as good at handling as it could be. So again, too soft and too stiff is always a bad thing. You've got to try and find that happy balance between the two. Rebound settings. With the rebound is, as we saw in the video, when the wheel comes back onto the from up in the wheel well down onto the ground. But rebound also controls the turning response for your car. I'll just try and find it on the description. It's damping, rebound. Where are you, rebound? No. There we go. Rebound damping controls the rate of extension as the suspension rebounds away from the wheel wells. So you saw that in the video as well. Adjusting the front rebound damping fine-tunes your car's balance going into and out of corners. Increasing front rebound damping stiffness increases transitional understeer. So it's the same with this as well. If you've got that higher than the rear, you'll get understeer. If you've got that the rear higher than the front, you'll get oversteer. So that's pretty much the same as the springs as well. So those two, the springs and the damping, that rules in effect for both of them. So what you'll find is the higher you've got your rebound stiffness as well, you'll find that it's a bit more, or it's a bit better turning in. If you've got too low, again, it'll be really sluggish to drive, and you'll have issues turning in. And likewise, if it's too stiff, then it'll probably turn in a little bit too much, or it'll be really responsive, but there's a good chance you're going to lose grip as you're in the bends, or as you're coming out of the bends, for instance. So that's one thing to remember. So if you're trying to fine-tune your car going into corners and out of corners, it's the rebound that you want to be messing with, and have a look at that. Now the rebound and the bump do also work together. And it says here that I think it needs 50 to 75% bump compared to rebound. So what that is whatever you've got the rebound settings set as, it's saying you want the front or rear at about 50% or 75%. So you can see I've got 9.7 and 5.8 and 9.5 and 5.4. Now this is pretty much down to trial and error. With rebound, I usually always have it between 9 and 10.5. I think is the highest I usually go. Is have it around that mark. And bump is kind of track dependent. If you're on a bumpy track, you might want to set it a little bit softer just to deal with the curbs or the bumps. And if it's a flat track, then you can go in ahead and increase it a little bit. But I have seen quite a few tunes where the bump has been fairly low, and I used to do this in Forza 4 and it used to work quite well, is have a high rebound and a low bump. And that seemed to work pretty well. On Forza 5 I haven't seen myself personally that is the case. And you can usually tell as well if you're driving, if you've got one of these set too high, the car will slightly bounce as you're going down the straight. As it goes over slight bumps, you'll see it just going up and down slightly. And you can adjust, you can stop it from doing that with the bump and the rebound, in conjunction with the springs, of course. So yeah, the springs and the damping is pretty much tied in together. So the springs, remember we covered that before, and the damping is, remember, rebound is turn in and turn exit, and the bump is pretty much how you go over curbs. It's pretty much that simple. With me, it's trial and error. I'll try and find something. I usually set these to about 9 to start off with. Something maybe depending if it's front wheel drive or rear wheel drive, and usually do that just about halfway or maybe just over halfway. For the bump, and then just see how it goes, and then just fine tune it from there. And that's just pretty much my overview of the bump and rebound settings. So yeah, if you've got the bump too high, you will hit curbs and you will fly up in the air and lose grip. And that's the one thing that you'll probably notice the most. If you want to try that out, just go out, get a car that you can tune, or you've got tuned, and just put a really high bump on it. And then just hit the curbs and see how it happens, and then move it all the way down to have a really low one and just see how it affects the car as well. So yeah, the bump and the rebound is more about fine tuning your entrance into corners and exit. So I hope that's I hope I haven't confused you. I hope you've found that helpful. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try and answer as many as I can. Hopefully there won't be many because you all understand, but as with most things in tuning, I can't tell you what to set it at for each particular part. It's pretty much down to trial and error, and it does vary from car to car. So that's pretty much it, guys. As I said, I hope you found it enjoyable and helpful, and if you have, just feel free to leave me a like or a comment or a share, all the other things that YouTube lets you do, and until next time, I'll see you all soon.